Welcome to Pawfectly Unleashed, a podcast where four friends talk about dog mom life, mental health, and everything in between. Well, you made it to the end of our season. We are so excited. So this is just going to be a little recap of what we wanted season one to be and our feelings. Not that you were surprised, because that's been every episode
Consistent.
up until then. But here we are. So we really wanted to create a safe space in our little Instagram community and branch it out into a podcast community for everyone. And with that, we wanted to be really open and honest about our experiences with
Mhm.
everything, especially mental health. And I don't know about everyone else, but that was really hard for me. I was super anxious about that.
I think that we were all,
Yeah.
I think, first off, not even I think, we have clips of Quinn alerting me because of how anxious I was. Like,
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said
full
I don't know about
transparency.
everyone, but because I do. I
Full
do know everyone
transparency.
else.
Anxious, nervousness. I do have to say, like, as the episodes went on, as the recording went on, it did get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like going back and listening to our episodes, you can, again, I don't know about the viewers. I know for myself, I can see all of us blossom. And
Mhm.
our most recent one, you can really see everybody is more comfortable in front of the camera, more comfortable talking. You kind of get the actual feel of our group chat. Because,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, for sure.
not that you're not getting the actual feel in any of the other episodes, you could just really see everybody get more comfortable in front of the camera, more comfortable talking into our mics, more comfortable of just overall talking,
Talking
because
more
it is nerve
candidly.
Yeah.
wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
We started
because
to
in the
act much
beginning we were
more.
very
Yeah. We started to act much more as like it was our FaceTime than we were at
Yep.
work.
Yeah.
Because you
Mhm.
Yeah.
guys don't know this, but this is work for us. So it's a shift from our regularly scheduled programming in our group chat to work mode. And we started out the podcast being very detail oriented with an outline and points that
Yeah.
we wanted
Mhm.
to hit and how we wanted everything to flow. And we realized after listening back to the first couple episodes, thank you for bearing with us through those, that things actually flowed a lot better when we just had an idea of what we wanted to talk about and not so much a rigid outline
Yeah.
Outline, because
of what it was.
we were very intentional with what we were putting out
Mhm.
there. Not that we're not intentional now, but we were more like, we need to make sure that we have these facts out there. We need to make sure that we're saying these things.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
I think it was, oh my goodness, which one was it? It was was it the North and versus South one?
I
I
want to
think
say
it
it
was
was
the
one
North
before
versus.
that.
Yeah, I feel like it was the one right before that. But now I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Oh, mental health.
It was mental health. Yep.
Yes.
Mental health, because we had to re-record it, and we're like, you know what? We're just going to talk like we do amongst each other and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because we
And
had
I
And
feel
then
kept
like
once
when
we
we do
stopping.
that, you get more of a transparent, authentic version of us instead of being like, all right, guys, next point, next point, next point. It's like we just get to talk like we normally would, except it's just being recorded. Like our entire purpose of starting this podcast was in the first place. We wanted to
Yes.
record our conversations and put them out there. And in the
Mhm.
beginning, I mean, we weren't used to being on camera like this. I mean, we weren't used to coming every single week, being on camera, being filmed, and putting it out
Mm-mm.
there. So it was definitely like a transition of like being used to being on camera, but also being used to like your conversations being recorded because it adds more pressure. It adds more of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a nervousness feel instead of just like an authentic conversation. So I definitely agree, Britt, that I feel like we definitely have
Mhm.
been able to be more authentic in the fact that we're more comfortable on camera talking to each other as if we were on FaceTime.
Yeah, it was one of
100%.
the things that was hard for me was I had to put my work hat on to limit the words that I say. So we are a family-friendly podcast. You can listen to us
That's what
in
I was
front of
about
your
to say.
kids. Yeah. So we made the conscious effort, right, to not say bad words on this podcast.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's hard for me. I'm going to be very honest. That's hard for me. It's hard for me, especially when I work around kids all day. I cannot do that at work. I cannot do that at this work either. And I stumbled a lot in the beginning and still do, but it was a lot of choppiness in the first couple episodes of, oh, we have to stop, we have to pause, we have to cut that out. Whereas now I think Caroline can probably talk to this most.
So,
But
like your
editing.
your issue was that. My issue is dropping name brands.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
that happened many times. I can attest to that.
And it's still happening. I'm like, oh, you're right. I can't say that.
I did that too, and I would say a sentence, and then I'd be like, when I used, and then I'm like, never mind, restart, because I can't say that I used.
Roll back the tapes.
It's like
and it's funny
TV
because
taste of like after you say a brand name, you're like,
Everyone's
cool,
face.
you have to refilm now. Great.
Everyone
sure-
takes like
although I have to say,
because we know we're gonna
the
start
last
over.
time I did that, I didn't even realize. You guys had to
didn't.
put your little hand.
Yeah, you
like,
didn't.
You guys can't see, but we raise our hands whenever we have to stop.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden I see a raised hand, so I'm finishing up what I'm saying. And they're like, you can't say the name. And I'm like, you're right. I did that.
We should pull some of those
Whoops.
clips and put them on our stories just because they can actually see
Yeah.
what happens.
Hey Britt, that was a no.
Yeah. Which everyone says now, without even realizing it. I'll have everyone out there know.
I don't
and-
think our viewers know unless you're from New York or from Philly or
The Northeast,
maybe
probably.
even like yes. We say yeah, no, but then also no, yeah, and then we'll make our statement.
Mhm.
So like
It can mean both yes and no.
yeah. So like yeah, no is usually no, and then no, yeah is usually yes.
It's the second one. It's the second. We say both. I don't know why, but usually take us for the second one. But I do probably want Caroline to chime in and talk about how much easier editing is now towards the end than the
Yeah,
beginning.
and I hope it's easier.
I will say,
Fingers
if y'all don't know, I do edit the podcast, and in the beginning, it was definitely challenging. I kept coming back into our meetings being like, all right, we have to do better at this because this is a lot of work and I don't have the time or the brain capacity to figure this out and like trying to clip words and sentences together to make a full sentence. So I will say, as we have progressed, it's gotten easier. This past episode that I just did, was it this one or the last one? One of the later ones was probably the hardest one I've ever done, but which is funny because it's one of the later ones. But there was a lot of brand names and pauses and starts and Wi-Fi mishaps and dog mishaps, and which is, life. It's fine, but it's definitely gotten better because the conversations have gotten easier. So when we get into a conversation, we just don't stop talking. And it's nice because then it's not much to cut out. Or I'm like, we talk too much, so we're cutting out this entire segment and having to remove it. So, maybe y'all will get to hear that, those segments that get cut out one day. But yeah, it's definitely a lot easier.
Maybe over the summer we can, everyone knows that we're going into a break. Stick around. We probably could post those bloopers and clips that we didn't get to post during the season. Over our quote unquote off season. Ziggy is looking at me right now, speaking of dog mishaps, like he's going to start yelling at my face. So that's fun.
Well, Nikki just shared something that we haven't quite shared with you guys yet. And it is our plans moving forward. This summer, we are going to take off. We are ending the season here. And we're just going to take some time to not record so that I don't have to edit and just take some much needed personal time. We will still be super active on our Instagram and on our all of our social medias. We will be posting, but just for the podcast specifically, we will be taking a break and we will be returning in the fall with season 2.
Speaking of taking a break, things will be looking a little different going forward. I will be taking a break from the podcast. It's no secret that I have a lot going on right now, and I really just need to focus on the things that are here in front of me. So we're still friends. We still all talk daily. I just needed to take a step back from the podcast, and these 3 will go big places with this podcast.
But she's not leaving the group chat. don't
Sorry,
worry.
guys.
No.
Sorry, guys. There's nothing juicy.
Yeah. But I do think that this leads us into a good time for us to talk about all of the stuff that went into this that we had no idea we were getting ourselves. At least I had no idea. I keep talking for everybody, and
You can.
I feel like I can do that.
We
We
are
share the
one.
brain,
Nikki,
yep,
we
yep.
are one.
Yep.
To be fair, I figured it would be work, but not
Yeah.
this much. And I was actually talking to somebody, one of our friends, one of our listeners. They had asked what goes into it, and I kind of broke it down for her, and she was like, I had no idea.
Yeah, we did.
So with that being said, let's be transparent as we always are and talk about the things that go into podcasts. One of the things that I thought would be easy as a content creator would be getting on here and talking, because we do
Same.
that for a living. It's completely different.
Except it's not
Yeah.
me. I'm not doing it. The dogs are doing it.
Mhm.
They're talking.
Well, for you, but for me, I'm on camera with Quinn. I guess
Yeah.
because I can retake the same take if I don't like it, whereas this is
This is more like
just
curated.
gotta
Like
roll.
it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
more of a
And
Can't
it's
really have a
also when you
script.
take a break, everyone else also takes a break. It's not
Mhm.
just you figuring it out
Mhm.
on your own. It's all of us. So it's like
Yeah.
if I say something
Yeah.
wrong, everyone has to stop.
Yeah, like when
So
Ziggy
it's
chewed on the bone and we
more
had to
pressure.
record the whole episode over. I'm never going to live that down in my own brain. I do think something interesting in my content on Ziggy and Toad's Instagram, though, is that since starting this, I have been in front of the camera a lot more. Like I jumped in the shower and recorded. I would have never done that before because I wasn't the face of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, jumping in the shower, doing that, we will post it on our story.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to tell you guys, I bought the product y'all were telling me about, and I am so excited. I can't wait to get it.
Wait, which one? The Pet
The
Matrix?
Pet Matrix one, yes. I am
Amazing.
so excited. Y'all been
That
saying
makes
so
me
many good
so
things about
happy.
it.
It's
I
all
am
you,
so
Britt.
I've been giving we've been on Pet Matrix since I think last year. We've been on it for a while. We've been doing the Thrive Pack, which is all 3 plus the calming spray. And I really, really saw a difference in Diamond. She's been struggling with arthritis since she's 9 months old when I adopted her. Her walking ability really declined there for a little bit. We started doing Move, and she's moving.
Amazing.
I love
Amazing.
that.
She's running around. She's got pep in her step again. She still has some not so great days, but she's still zooming. She's 13 years old and she still does little zoomies. So I'm here for it. I love it.
I love that.
My other favorite one is Think. I've been doing that for Quinn because she's a little nervous. It helps with their nervous system. And I've been really seeing great progress with Quinn in nervous settings such as cars or really
Amazing.
busy areas. So
We
Yeah.
just got Think in the mail. I'm super excited to try that one. I actually over here have my empty Protect bottle. I'm saving it, reduce, reuse, recycle. But I have been
Love that.
so excited with this. I've been trying to figure something out for Ziggy's allergies for ever. And Britt suggested this, so I tried it because at this point I'm ready to try anything. And within 1 week, his eyes were no longer red, his chest was no longer red, his poops were better. Sorry, everyone. Which is something else that I struggle with with Ziggy. But I just was so shocked at how quickly things changed. And I just am so thankful that we have found Pet Matrix.
I love that. I think I have Think and Protect on the way with a calming spray. So I'm excited to get my dogs on it and see the results. But we just wanted to let you guys know about that. Use code PUP, P-U-P, in the discount code and save yourself some money at checkout. But anyways, back to the episode. We hope you enjoy the rest of it. I think too, in the topic of just like the amount of work, we also have an LLC. We have a book out. There's like a lot more behind the scenes of just this podcast. But with the podcast, it definitely is a lot more work than anticipated. I'm actually taking a week off next week to be completely away from social media in general because
Well deserved.
I'm getting burnout and I'm getting overwhelmed just from the amount of work and making sure the podcast is edited and getting a thumbnail for YouTube and then publishing it on both of our platforms, trying to figure out how we can get on Apple Podcast. There's just
They have been such a pain, by the way.
If anyone
Come
has
on,
anybody,
Apple, just love us.
does anybody work at Apple? Help us out.
Please help. We are planning on getting there eventually. Be patient because it'll happen. I don't know when, but it'll happen. But it's just it's a lot of work and it's a lot of deadlines and they're like instant deadlines. I have to be caught up on my editing for each episode. I have to send it out to the girls and get them to proof it. Sometimes they make mistakes, like I leave a blooper in on accident and I have to edit that out, or I publish things at the wrong time. So
we're human. We make mistakes.
We all make
sometimes,
mistakes,
and that's okay.
There's just a lot to it, and a lot of it is also a learning curve because I have been taught in editing by someone who does it professionally, and so do I know how to edit? Yes. Is this a different ball game? Yes. And you're also learning platforms, you're learning metrics, you're learning all of it while also trying to be in it and do it. So it's definitely not expected for any of us, but it's something that we all love to do and we have a passion in it, so it makes it fun work. It's just work.
Agreed. Like, so Caroline said that she edits and she sends us what she edited, the clip or the episode. And then what we do is we now watch one to make sure that we all look okay, make sure that there's no errors, because again, we're all human, things happen, nobody's perfect. And 3, we pull clips because Caroline shouldn't have to take on that entire thing. Exactly. So we go in, we do our clips. We use an app and we upload it all there with little captions of what the clips are. Then we also kind of go in there too to caption the clip so that it's easier to upload, just to make things easier on our end. And then on top of that, you also have Instagram that we have to worry about to make sure that we're present on there. And then as we spoke about earlier, we made our own community on Instagram to give more people a safe space. And we also want to make sure that we're present there. So like, it's a lot of work. Not saying that community is work. I love that. I love popping in. I love checking in on everybody. I just want to make sure I'm spiraling now. Anyway.
No, it's fun things that we want to do. We set it up for a reason. We love being
Yeah.
in there, but it's time consuming. I think that's the word that
Right.
we're looking for. Not necessarily work, but it's finding
It's
the
time-consuming.
time to be
Time-consuming.
doing that. And we all have obligations other than this, our
Mhm.
own Instagrams, work outside of the home, partners, dogs. There are things that we have to do that need to get done. And this also needs to get done. And we had a lot of down to the wire, hey, this needs to go out in 20 minutes. And we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And
Mhm.
we have learned a ton. There's going to be
Mhm.
so much more to learn, but I am so, insert choice word here, proud of us and what we have done, because none of us knew how to do it. We
Yeah.
were on a FaceTime call one day and said, you know what? I think other people would benefit from this. I think other people would think that this is funny. I think other people would want to be included in this. What if we started a podcast? And literally that's how it was born. Probably less than a month later, we were figuring out how to record our first episode and trying to get it out. We did not do a ton of research on this. And
No.
I'm so proud of what has come out of it, considering. I mean, who
Yeah.
would have thought that we would be sitting here having conversations about chicken cutlets and water ice and Coke and peanuts and cows? But here we are. And, it's just like so exciting to see it happen. I mean, and thank you to everyone who has really helped it happen, because we continue to
Yeah,
do
for
it
sure.
because of the community that
you
we're
guys.
building. Yeah.
I would like to say, although we just did talk about how time consuming it is and how grateful we are for our supporters, I would like to say how grateful I am for this small little community of us four. I would never be able to do what I do without these girls. Like, the fact that we are able to support each other, and I mean, I was just telling them, like, I'm like, I need a break, and they're like, girl, take a week, take 2 weeks, take 3, like, take as long as you need, come back feeling refreshed. After a week, if you're not feeling refreshed, take another. So just having the support and having the like bonds that we can have together to build something that is a safe space, that is more than just us, just feels really good. And I mean, I've gotten to know you girls a lot better than I did previously, which I was like, how can we get to know each other more? This is how.
Right.
We've had to work together.
Literally.
We've had to be a team. We've had late nights. We've had early mornings of being like, we got to get something up. Like, what are we posting? Like, caption it. Like, we've had to work together to make this happen. And so it's not like an individual thing. We all have different roles and responsibilities, but it couldn't happen without all of us. So
Yeah.
I am definitely appreciative for like the bond that we have grown as well.
Which is why I think it was so hard for
I'm smiling so hard right
and
now.
not
'Cause I
to
couldn't agree more.
yeah, and not to put words in anyone's mouth, but I think it was a really hard thing for all of us to work through, Alexis wanting to take a step back, because the dynamic will change. We love her. We want her to stay, but we also, more so than that, we want her to be happy. We want her to, find
100%.
happiness in social media again and what she wants to do. And as she's navigating
Her new
what's
journey.
new. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was not, I feel like I'm going to like get emotional. It was not something that was taken lightly. There were so many conversations about
Oh,
it
yeah.
and so many different ways of,
How do
what
we fix
happens
this? Like, how do we
next and
help?
what can we do so you don't have to do that. And at the end of the day, I think if you're watching this, you understand why I'm still talking and Alexis isn't right now. But I think at the end of the day, we just really had to sit back and say, our friendship will still be there. What
Mhm.
will make you happy? Because if it's not this, we don't want it to then transfer into being us. Meaning we want to reserve the friendship, and that's more important because that's where this was born from. And how do we do that without, while also making sure that you have time to do what you need to do? And really, my understanding, and Alexis looks like she might be able to talk soon,
I mean, yeah,
is
like
that it
for
really
me,
just came down to time.
it did. So I'm running an entire household by myself with 3 dogs, buying a house by myself for the first time. So it's just a lot. Like, and
Which is
then
a huge accomplishment. That is so exciting.
I sign on Friday, so that's a good
Yay.
thing. But it was something I pondered for probably a good 3 weeks to a month before I even brought it up to the group, because I wanted to make sure that like I knew what I was wanting really before I said what I wanted, because I didn't want to be the person that was like, you know what, this is so much work, I'm leaving. And that's
Mm.
not who I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to make sure that like, okay, can I really do this or can I really not? And it came down to just right now, it's with it being so much work and how much I have going on, I just don't have the time to put in to the podcast. Even though it is enjoyment, it's just a lot. Like everyone we just described, it's a lot of work. And so ultimately that's what made the decision for me. Like Nikki said, and the reason I wasn't talking is because I'm over here crying my eyes out. But like Nikki said, we're still friends. We still talk. I still love them. It's just, it came down to I needed to figure out what my priorities were and put the priorities that were most important to me, and being able to pay my bills and see my family right now are my priorities. So the podcast,
Which is
unfortunately,
understandably so.
Right.
podcast is unfortunately something I had to make the really hard decision to leave the group. But I still wish them the best of luck.
We also thrive, or we, I can't think of like the proper word. I'm going to say thrive on mental health, and we push mental health so much. At the end of the day, it comes down to protecting your peace. And
Yeah.
it comes down to making sure that your mental health is okay. So even though we selfishly are like, don't leave, we understand.
And it got to the point like where the podcast was so much like my own Instagram suffered. And it's probably been
Mm.
what, like 2 weeks now since I've kind of stepped back pretty much altogether from the podcast. And my Instagram now is back up and running. So like it was so much of doing both that I just couldn't focus on both of them at the same time. So, but yeah, mental health is definitely a priority. So as much as I'm going to miss them, we're still going to have FaceTime date nights and all that, just not me being, unfortunately, putting in the work.
I think we pride
Gotta take
ourselves in, yeah. I think we pride ourselves in making sure that our mental health comes first, whatever that looks like. And we have had to push episodes, and this is why we have check-ins, which that's on me. I forgot to do that in the beginning of this episode. But if anyone was wondering, here it is.
You know
But
what? Speaking of that, I'm gonna out myself. One of the episodes where we cut the image out of, I don't remember exactly which one that was. But if you watch YouTube, you will know which one I'm talking of. It was because I was having such a bad mental health day, but I thought that I was okay. Watching that footage back, I dissociated the entire episode, and it was not okay.
we all noticed when we watched it back that she
We
did
watched it
not
back
look
and I
like
was like,
herself.
I was like, this doesn't look okay. Like, I look like I'm on a different planet. And for people that don't have or not have, for people that don't understand mental health, it could have been perceived wrongly. And I didn't want to air that out. I
Yeah.
have no problem showing you guys the clips. I have no problem putting it on our story to show you what it looks like. I just didn't want to put it out there, and then somebody that doesn't understand us as ourselves or understand where we come from with mental health, I didn't want them judging me or thinking it was something else when I was
Yeah.
really just dissociating. And I've never actually watched myself dissociate. Like I feel it. I know it's happening, but I never actually watched it in like a different point of view, and it was kind of scary to me. And I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
girls, like this isn't okay. Like
It was
I'm
a lot for you to
fine with
process.
keeping the sound, but can we like get rid of the visual, because it just didn't look okay.
I think you actually tried to make yourself be okay with it
Yeah.
so that we didn't have to re-record or make any changes, because we are all very sensitive about everyone else's time. And so I think that I actually was the one, because Britt and I were watching it, and I was the one that went into the chat and was like, I'm not comfortable with this video going up. Can we skip this episode totally on YouTube? But knowing that you guys really like to watch us, we got a little bit creative, and thank you for bearing with us with that. But I could tell how much it was hard for Britt to process
I was
that.
Spiraling.
And so I was like, I'm just going
spiraling.
to take this away and make the executive decision, which, for better or worse, I feel like I am. I was going to say bossy. I'm not going to say bossy. I'm going to say I am assertive in the group of
Nikki's
we
like
need
the
to do
mom.
this.
I was just gonna say that.
This is what needs to happen. How do we make it work?
She's the nurse and the mom. So like
She's been my nurse so many times.
we have
I've been told
we have a whole
many
meeting where Nikki's like, Caroline, did you do X, Y, and Z? Okay, do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
She made
To
me
be
take
fair,
off work when
she
I had a
did
concussion.
help me.
I did.
She's on top of me, making sure I'm healthy.
Work fully too. No,
Oh, yeah.
no screens. I had her texting me to ask me if she could color. That's how.
I did do that.
You are not allowed to do this. If I find out, I'm gonna be upset. Wow, that was really modish. That was. There it is.
But that got me off my phone. I said, she's going to be upset. I can't watch TV. I can't be on my phone. We can't record. I can't have meetings. I can't text anybody.
I was worried about your brain.
It got to the point where I was making them send voice memos because I was like, I want to talk to y'all, but I can't look at my phone.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, I want the juice, but I can't.
I can't read it.
I can't read it. And we did. We all sent voice notes so that she could be involved still.
Her own little personal podcast.
Yeah.
Well, now that we know Britt's most uncomfy moment of the season, I'll share mine. Mine was my overexpressive face. I feel like in the very beginning, I tried to overexert myself because everyone else was giving me nothing on here. And then when I found out that everyone else looked at me to make them more comfortable, it made me more uncomfortable because I was like, wait, do I need to look at myself too? What? Well, if I'm everyone's comfort, who's going to be mine?
To be fair, Alexis has been mine this entire episode.
Good.
Because she's the big one on my screen.
Nikki's
I've been
the
looking
big
at her
one
too.
on my screen, so I'm looking at her.
I'm still looking at Nikki.
My I guess not really uncomfortable, but like wow, like that's really me, is realizing that like of how much of an accent I really have. And when I look back on things, I'm like, why do I say it like that? Like, what's wrong with me? But that's just how I talk. Like, sorry. Yeah, that just was a weird moment to realize that I actually do have an accent.
Yeah,
it's funny. Unlike Nikki, mine would be the opposite, is that I have such a mean resting face. I'll like be editing and I'm like, who hurt her. Like, what happened? Because I'm just like blank stare, probably at Nikki because that's who I look at. Just like staring, just like no expression, nothing, just blank stare. And I'm like, girl, do something. Like, give us something more. So I've been trying really hard this episode of like reacting, but like I react in my head, not in my face.
I
Good job.
Thanks.
To be
So I'm
fair,
like,
I have a really bad resting face too. So I just sit there. I'm like,
it's
smile,
so bad.
smile.
Yeah,
Literally.
Smile. Nikki's
Mhm.
face, her resting face, she's just looks like you just want to give her a hug. Like
She
she's
looks
just like
pleasant.
She
I had
does.
to be on a lot of work videos for in
I
COVID,
understand.
so I had to fix it. Yeah, and sometimes just the things that come out of my mouth. I mean, and that's a general consensus that we have gotten from people listening to this as well.
Mhm.
Like, what's going to come out of her mouth next?
where does she
Your
come
guess
up
is
with
as
that
good as
way?
mine.
I truly believe Nikki is probably everybody's favorite, and I don't blame them.
I don't
I
think
don't
She's
blame
so.
them
my
at all.
yeah, no, I don't blame them.
It's just I don't do well with silence, so I talk. I
Like,
have
fill
said
the
probably
void.
6 times in these recordings. I can't talk anymore. I'm going to mute myself, and then of course I don't, and here I am talking
She
again.
does. In our break, she's
Every
like,
time.
"All right, I spoke a lot. I'm gonna just."
Yeah, and then we're like, who's going to start? Oh, it'll be me. Okay.
That literally just happened. It came down to me or Nikki, and I was like, not me.
I did mute myself
Every
at
time.
one point though, so I didn't sing The Little Mermaid because of something that Caroline said. I can't remember.
I
She
wish
said,
you
I don't
did.
know when. And I went in my head, I literally hit mute just in time. I was like, I don't know when. I don't know how. Like, why? Why am I like this?
I love it.
We love Nikki.
Nobody should have let me join a podcast. That's all I have to say.
Oh,
Hey, I
I
think
love
it was
it.
my fault. I let you join the group chat, so
You did.
you did.
Everyone thank Alexis. Or send her hate mail. I mean,
please don't send me hate mail. I'll delete your comment real quick. Delete.
Your comment.
Delete block.
Yeah, delete block real quick. Don't even hurt my feelings. See you later,
Oh
alligator.
my goodness.
I can't.
I'm crying.
All right. Well, we spoke about the uncomfy situations. What was your favorite one? Like, I don't know, episode, thing that was said, something that like stuck out to you.
Chicken
Do
cut.
I
I
have
think
a
for me,
answer
I
for this
feel
right
like
now?
I feel like I just got to connect with you guys on just such a different level. Like water ice, chicken cutlets. I
Water.
mean, I now know. I
What just
I think it was the way she said
oh
water.
gosh.
Water ice.
She was correcting my water. It's just like so many different funny moments throughout the season and just like learning things. I mean, I now know how to say a lot of American Italian words that I never knew before. Just getting to like learn so much. I mean, how we take showers differently, even like we just go on tangents. I mean, there was a clip that never got its moment to shine about us talking about where we are in line with our like in our families, like youngest, oldest, middle. It hasn't made it to y'all yet, but maybe it will at some point. Maybe you'll see it over the summer. But just like things like that, I just think it's really cool to like learn things that you normally wouldn't otherwise and that you just
I agree.
talk about.
Yeah, we had conversations here that probably would have never happened
Been brought up.
had we not
Mm-mm.
started the podcast. And a lot of things that happen when I'm like, I wish that I had started the recording earlier.
Yeah.
Like the whole chicken cutlet thing, I think we were getting ready for a recording, not North or South, not the one that we brought it up in. I think it was North or
I
South
think
that
it
we brought
was-
it up in.
I think it was like in the beginning because we
Yeah, you were
we
eating.
recorded
It
two.
was.
We recorded two in one day, and I
Mhm,
took the break
Mhm.
to eat quick before we started the second recording. So it had to be like, I don't know, episode 3, episode 4,
Yeah.
something around there when that initially came up. We're like, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to put a pin in this and bring this back because what?
Yep.
Mhm.
It was like,
Yeah.
I'm about to eat a chicken cutlet real quick, cold from the fridge. And I was like, oh, that's the best way. But I don't think I was in the frame, or Caroline wasn't in the frame.
I think
And
Caroline was.
Caroline
The
wasn't
way
in
our
the
heads
wasn't.
popped back.
She was like, a what?
because she wanted to see
A
my
what?
chicken cutlet.
She said,
Yeah.
I'm glad Alexis said something because I was about to, because I was like, a what?
I
was like, "What do you mean?"
sprinted back to my computer and I was like, what's a chicken cutlet? What are we talking about? What is
Not
that?
the things that you put in your bra. Edible chicken cutlet.
Yes.
Caroline's
here
mad
goes
because she's going to have
another,
to cut
where
that
does
out.
Nikki come up with this stuff?
I'm going to leave it in. I'm leaving that one in.
To be fair, I did ask somebody about chicken cutlets and they thought it was that. And I was
Mhm.
like, ooh,
Interesting.
no.
I want to say that my favorite thing, now not necessarily on like podcast recording, but just since we started the podcast in general, is like, I mean, we showed up for each other a lot when we were just in friends, but like since we got to a regular scheduling of meeting each other every week, I feel like when somebody needs something, they're like, okay, what? Where are we going?
Mhm.
Like, what's happening? And like, there's been so many times I'm like, you may book a flight? I got it in my cart. Like, I'm on the
Literally, screenshot
And-
sent. You're not even joking.
and my drive-
Literally.
I'll fill it
To
in the
Jamaica.
car. So like, I feel like us just like we had more of a bond, I think, from
Mhm.
starting the podcast, and that's probably my favorite part.
I agree. Things that came up, it was never a frustrating of like, oh, this is so annoying. The first question that was always asked was, do we need to push this? Are you in a good headspace to do this? There's always tomorrow. Your mental health is more important. And I think that that's a theme that I hope everyone that's listening to us really hears throughout the whole season. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane with all of us. We certainly enjoyed recapping our highs and lows of the season and just kind of giving you a deeper dive into what we learned and what we did and what it took to really bring the group chat to life.
Mm-hmm.
That is a wrap for season 1. We started with 5 and y'all are ending with 3. I will make sure to tune in next season to make sure that you can keep the group chat alive.
Ouch.
I just want to emphasize on she did not count wrong.
No, yeah, we
She
started
did
with
not.
They're down to 3. But I'll be tuning in. I'll be a watcher, promise. See y'all next
It
season.
definitely was 5.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to season 1 of Pawfectly Unleashed. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. That concludes our season. We want to give a special thank you to everyone that has supported us along the way, everyone that has joined our group chat. We wouldn't be where we are without you, and we cannot wait to see you for season 2 in the fall.